This is day 10 of tanning beaver tails. So yesterday was the first day. Yesterday was the first day with the tea, and what I think is really cool is, hopefully it shows up on video, but the water, the tea in the vessel is noticeably lighter in color because so much of the tannins, the pigment that makes the tea water dark, have absorbed into the tails, which I think is super cool. So when I put them in yesterday, this one was on the bottom and this one was on the top. So because they were sitting like this one absorbed a lot of tannins on the top because there was no obstruction, and then the bottom of this one was touching the top of this one, and you can see how that prevented the top from absorbing as many tannins. So it was like that overnight, and then in the morning I moved them around and swapped them out, but this still didn't absorb tannins as much. So that's one reason why it's important to kind of stir this a little bit throughout the day, or at least make sure you're rotating the tails, who's on top and who's on bottom, when you change the tea. And I can keep track because one is noticeably thicker than the other. So yesterday the thick one was on top, so today the thin one's going to be on top. And you can kind of rotate like which side faces up too. But isn't it crazy how much darker this is? And yesterday it was like pasty white. So all I'm gonna do today is kind of roll these up and squeeze them out a little bit. Actually, it makes more sense to dump the tea first. Here's the tea. I'm gonna kind of squeeze these out a little bit. So that we get some of the fluid out and they're ready to absorb some more of the tea. And then I'm gonna pour in the tea that I made yesterday. So this is 2 quarts or 8 cups of water, and I did 16 tea bags. Remember, we're making the solution a little bit stronger each day until we get to a certain point. But if you start too strong, supposedly it makes like a impenetrable barrier on the outside of the skins that doesn't allow it to absorb any more tannins to the inside. So you can see this is way darker than it was before I dumped and refreshed, and it's also darker than it was yesterday because yesterday's was made with 2 quarts of water and 10 tea bags. So I'm going to toss these and set the tails aside. Oops. And then make my batch of tea that I'll use tomorrow. It is a little greasy on top. I'm not really worried about that for today. Tomorrow I'll probably scrub this out with some soap and water before I put the fresh batch of tea in there. So I'm gonna get ready for tomorrow. 20 tea bags, 2 quarts of water. I try to always get the tea ready the night or the day before so that it can be cool and fully brewed for the next day. So, see you tomorrow.